Welcome back, everybody. This is Michael Leveris with JurisQ.com, a legal network where we bring you attorneys to answer commonly asked legal questions and digest news in the legal context. And we brought back Sandra Spurgeon, an attorney from Kentucky who does complex civil litigation. Thank you for your time, Sandra. Always a pleasure to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And look, this case that we're going to talk about next, it's complex because it involves emotion. We want to see whether there's any liability here from the companies. And these are big name companies. Everybody has been there, Sesame Place and Chuck E. Cheese. Now, what are the allegations against them? And it was in the news, it went viral. So first of all, at Sesame Place, a costumed Rosita character was ignoring two black girls while at the same time high-fiving a white child and woman, okay? And what happened there is that they decided, after this came into the public, they installed and instituted a diversity program to train their staff, okay? And then Chuck E. Cheese, I don't know if they conspired together, what happened, but in the same week, Chuck E. Cheese were alleged by Muhammad family that also their child, a black girl, was ignored by a mascot while other kids of other races were hugged, high-fived, and so on. And they did not institute, as of now, a diversity program, but what they did is they gave the restaurant manager a chance to apologize and address their concerns, the concerns of parents in person. Sandra, so I want to ask you as an experienced litigator, and we know that America is a very litigious country, and everybody has a right to hire an attorney and go after everybody for anything. Here, in this case, these are big companies, big pockets. Do you think that the parents of these children have any kind of claim that they can pursue for monetary damages on behalf of their kids?
Well, actually, there was a lawsuit filed in the Eastern District of Pennsylvania by the Burton family against the Sesame Place in Pennsylvania, and they also sued SeaWorld Parks. And it's a civil rights action under Chapter 42, Section 21 of the Civil Rights Action, stating that no person shall be discriminated against or upon because of their gender, race, nationality, and so, et cetera. And so there's actually been a suit filed, and they have asked the court to certify it, and that would be a class action suit where others, individuals who have been discriminated against, can join that suit against those corporations.
So Sandra, so are you saying that there was some kind of evidence that it wasn't just one child, there were other potential, I don't know, you want to call it victims involved, where other kids were also discriminated against?
Yes, at least according to what I'm reading, yes. The Burton family, the father filed on behalf of his child, but there are allegations that there are other families, and they're asking people to come forward from July 2018 forward who have experience, who are, they've attempted to, they're going to certify the class for Black guests who have received disparate treatment based upon their race.
Oh, wow. So what are the standards here? I mean, look, obviously it's very hurtful to a child, especially a young child doesn't understand what transpired here. Why am I being ignored and other kids are not? I mean, what did she suffer? What is she going to get compensated for in case of a lawsuit? What are we talking about?
See, there you go. That would be my issue in terms of looking at the damages.
Right.
We don't know who, by the way, we don't know who's under those masks, right? And I don't know that it's been revealed who those characters were that were under in those costumes, their line of visibility. whether, there's a whole set of facts there that could be very damaging for plaintiffs that we haven't seen yet. What if the character, in this particular instance, what if the character what if he or she's Black?
Wow, that would be a bomb.
Right, or
Bombshell.
Middle Eastern, or of a different descent other than a white Caucasian. I mean, I think that a lot of it is going to may even turn on that. But in reality, what they're seeking is compensatory damages for the discrimination and punitive damages to punish the corporations for acts of discrimination. And certainly, as no parent, I have a special needs daughter, and, we've lived the majority of her life fighting against prejudice, because people have looked at her differently than they do our other daughter who functions normally. And I've always been an advocate of equal treatment for children. So the thing that disturbs me is whether a jury could get past the fact that, kids are so resilient, and what's going to happen, what's the proof going to be? Are the attorneys going to send this child for psychiatric treatment, assessment, evaluation? Are they victimizing the child by doing that? Is there a point to be made? I think there's facts here that are really beyond the legal realm at this point to determine the legitimacy of this lawsuit. But we shall see. It will play out.
Yeah. So Sandra, what I'm getting over here is that there are two different parts of getting an award for such a claim. One is compensatory, which is for your actual damages, and you said they would have to be proven. So, like you said, a psychologist maybe has to be brought in to evaluate whether there was real damage to this child, or they forgot about it the next day and they go on living happy ever after. And the second part is punitive. Can you explain this sort of more? Are you saying that there has to be punishment, punitive punishment for the companies if they were aware of such conduct before, they haven't done anything about it to address it? Is that what we're talking about?
Yes, that's exactly right. And I believe that the father is also a party to the suit. So, it would be his emotional harm and suffering. So what are your categories of damages? It would be emotional pain and suffering, past, present, and future, diminution in ability to earn income, lost wages, medical bills.
Right.
So that would be your compensatory. And typically punitive damages are ramped, as I would say, or multiplied based on the compensatory. And what punitive damages are is that they're damages considered and awarded by a jury as punishment, as a deterrent. And so typically they get into the net profits or the profits of the corporations, and they start asking questions of what it's going to take to deter that behavior for them. If they haven't taken remedial action, what steps, what is it going to take to get the shareholders' attention to demand remedial action to be taken for the policies and procedures and for retraining to occur. That's the purpose of punitive damages.
Sandra, this is very interesting. What you're describing is a very lengthy process, which could be very adversarial to these companies, because if there's a full-blown trial, there's going to be discovery, like you said, financials, some other misconduct could be uncovered from before. Wouldn't it be in the best interest of a company to settle as soon as possible, even if the claim is not so serious, maybe even frivolous, possibly, we don't know. Do you think that a quick settlement here is possible?
Most companies take a pretty hardline approach, and what they have on their side of the fence are facts that we don't know yet, right? So I would think that if there is a speedy resolution, it would be because there is information that they know is going to be very damaging to their public brand, and they try to make that issue go away without having to make that public disclosure. But typically companies take a very hardline approach to this kind of litigation, and we'll draw it out and extract and fight for a lengthy period of time. So if there's a quick resolution, I'm predicting why that may occur. And if not, I've also predicted why that may occur. There may be facts in which are very damaging for the plaintiffs here that we don't know yet.
Yeah, and I want to build on that. Look, we're not trying to minimize whatever happened to his child. Obviously, this is very upsetting. And I just want to talk about theory. In theory, like you said, we don't know all the facts, and the devil is in the details here. What happens if, like you said, the character is him or herself is of the same race as the child? So then there's no real bias here. What happens if we haven't seen the full tape? Maybe something happened prior to why this character didn't want to approach this child. I'm not saying this will happen, but who knows? And let's say other parents join in on the wagon, and now it's a class action lawsuit, and thousands more parents allege some kind of discrimination, but then it is shown that it did not occur, and their claims were frivolous, let's say. Can these companies sue the parents for legal fees incurred and bad publicity?
Yes.
Very interesting. Okay.
And potentially the lawyers. Yes.
Okay. Again, we're talking about in theory. It looks like these kids were possibly discriminated. We'll see what happens, whether it gets settled or goes to trial. But certainly, it is very, very nice of you, and we thank you for explaining to us, because we just read the headlines, but we have to understand what's happening behind it in a legal sense, and what's the exposure and liability of these companies going forward. Sandra Spurgeon, thank you so much. We appreciate it for your time. And if anybody has any further questions for Sandra, if you have any of your own cases you want to discuss with Sandra and her firm, the number is on the bottom of the screen. The website is also there. Please don't hesitate to reach out. Also, like our pages, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and follow us for more commonly asked and commonly answered questions on legal news and legal FAQs. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Sandra, thank you. Till next time.
Thank you. Have a great weekend.
Appreciate it.